This next gentleman shared something with me privately and didn't want to share it corporately because we are not making claims, guys. There are a lot of three-letter reasons that we're not making claims, okay? What's happening in these people's lives is real stuff. What you're about to hear is a real thing that happened with this particular individual. But I just need to let you know once more before we move to this one. These testimonials are for educational and informational purposes only, and it is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health professional with any questions you might have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you learned in this presentation. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease, and individual results will vary. That said, guys, when we started learning about this, we knew one thing. We knew the clinical trial showed visceral fat loss. And then we started to understand more about what happens in the body when you start to impact visceral fat. And oh my gosh, that's where a lot of these things are coming from. So in people's lives. This gentleman right here, Terry Dorman, reached out to me. So I was just like, could you please share that with people? So understand, guys, this is not a claim to do anything different than what you're doing. But Terry, could you please unmute yourself and share with you guys what has been your experience, brother?
Well, thanks, guys, for having me on. First of all, I'm the oldest guy on the hill here. I'm 80, and I don't know what it feels like to be 80, but I guess I'm it. But anyway, my testimony hasn't been evaluated by the FDA, and I certainly am not trying to influence anybody to do what I've done. But first of all, thanks to Victoria for sharing this with me. And we go back in friendship for many years, she and Tim, her husband. But I had no idea what visceral fat was.
Yeah.
And when I learned a little bit after listening to some of the talks on the program, I got in touch with a doctor friend of mine, Dr. David Nelson in California. And so he sent me some information, and one of them was an overview by a doctor named Sean O'Mara, and he had studied 6,000 patients with visceral fat, overloads of visceral fat. And boy, I began to wake up, and this stuff is bad news if it's way too much in your body.
Yeah.
So it just reminded me back in college, I had love handles. I went to the gym, and all these jocks were around there with their, six-pack, and there I stand with my love handles. And everything they gave me wouldn't work. I did all kinds of exercises, and of course, they didn't know either what it was. So bringing up to joining this operation, which I am so happy about, I got fixed on July 3rd, fixed with the Fix product, okay? And so we received our first shipment in a Ziploc bag like you put a sandwich in, which was kind of interesting. But hey, we were excited to get the product. And so the first, I don't want to draw this out too long, but the first thing that I actually noticed was I lost about 4.5 pounds in probably about 10 days. And that was interesting, but I didn't know that it was coming from visceral fat and not muscle. And then I began to realize that being 80, sometimes you suffer from cognitivity issues, and I had experienced some of that. But, that started to go away, which was very surprising. And guys, I'm telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth here. I'm not trying to blow this out of proportion. I had gone to my cardiologist and asked him about my blood pressure. It wasn't excessively high, but it was high enough to bother me. And it was like 145 over 68 or something. He said, well, you're 80. So, don't worry about it. But it did worry me about it. And he wanted to give me something to take my worries away, and I declined. And lo and behold, my blood pressure today is all in the 120s over 70. And I did nothing other than take the fix. So about 3 weeks ago, I was walking into the kitchen carrying something in my hand, and my shorts fell down around my knees. Now, I live in Florida, and I'm wearing shorts all the time, whether I'm out in the yard, in the boat, wherever. But Becky sits there laughing. I said, well, help me. And she said, you got yourself into this. I'm not going to help you. So anyway, I learned I had to buy a belt or get a belt and start wearing it with all of the shorts that I have because my love handles were decreasing. That in itself is a miracle because I've tried everything. I had some mild vertigo, so to speak, some issues with balance, which I've been told that's normal at 80. Don't have it anymore. True statement.
Wow.
Now, the big thing, Terry, I've had irregular heartbeat for 35 years. I've been on medicine for 35 years to eliminate that in the best that it would. But it would absolutely would never completely go away. They call it breakthrough. So I take the pills, it helped. But the breakthrough, I hope I'm not taking up too much time here. I'll hurry. The breakthrough stopped after I started on the fix. When that happened, I said, this is interesting. I reduced my medicine by 1/3 and then later by 1/3 again. And then as of the last, I wrote it down here, out of the last 6 days, I've been taking 0 pharmaceuticals. So here we go again. The side effects of these drugs were tremors, and eye muscle movement was erratic. That's gone. I'm telling the truth. Now, most weight loss programs don't tell you that they don't differentiate between muscle loss and fat loss. But we got something that differentiates and takes away fat and leaves the muscle. And one last statement. Our girls, our women, our beautiful women always take care of their skin, their hair. They're beautiful. They always look at that. But Terry, most of the time, the thing that's missing is the beauty internally that needs to be taken care of. And that's what Fix does. Thank you.
Wow.